Welcome to my show, Mr. Westworld. Mr. Westworld, welcome to my show. Welcome to my show, Mr. Westworld. Mr. Westworld, welcome to my show. Good Tuesday morning, my good people. It looks like Jaylen Brown is refusing to play with the Celtics, so they're still going to have to make a move after the trade of Giannis to Miami. And with that being said, let's see what they're talking about this morning.
You expect to happen now with Jaylen Brown?
Again, the baseline we have to remember this is that the Celtics made him available because they did not believe they were good enough. They aren't like saying, well, we really love Giannis. They were like, our team isn't good enough. So they are now going to look and see if they can make a move. By the way, there were other bidders for Giannis that didn't make the final two. And those bidders will now turn their attention to Jaylen Brown, I suspect. I believe in my conversation, all my talks with the whole league yesterday, Greeny, were about this.
Yeah.
Okay?
About the
like,
Jaylen Brown.
What's going to happen if they don't get Boston? Which of these 4, 5, 6, 8 teams that could make the bid for him? And that's what we're going to hear about. The Celtics knew what was going to happen here. They are not stupid. They are experienced. They knew what was going to happen. They have backup plans.
So what's y'all speculations on where do you guys think Jaylen Brown will end up at? I'm sitting there trying to think. It's going to be interesting. We know he ain't going to Memphis. I can guarantee you that. But on the serious note, what do you guys think Jaylen Brown will end up? It's really interesting. I don't see him going to 76ers. That would be a good, interesting move, but they would have to move some pieces, and I know they're not going to be willing to take on Paul George, excuse my French, my mispronunciation of his name backwards. I don't think they'll take on his contract, but yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comments. I'm sitting here and keep thinking about that and run a little bit more of this.
Dom's mention is important. In mid-July, he becomes extension eligible. He has 3 years left on his deal. He is turning 30. It's not necessarily the time to add $100 million to his contract. Even if everything was glorious and wonderful with Jaylen Brown, and they said to him, hey, we're not going to extend you, that was probably going to be a problem. And that probably computed into their thinking. So my guess is, even if Giannis wasn't available, I swear, I think Jaylen Brown might be on the block this year. I think Jaylen Brown is probably, not for sure, probably going to be elsewhere when the season opens.
Let me ask you a question. Like you just said, probably not eligible or not a good business decision to extend it. So someone's going to get Jaylen Brown maybe on 60 cents on the dollar because everyone knows Boston wants to move him. They're not actually in the most advantageous position to get a true value for a player of Jaylen Brown. And then they've got to find a partner.
That depends, Coach, because free agency is not very good. There's not guys available. This is not a.
Hold on, I'm gonna say this. This might sound a little deranged to some of you guys, and I don't want to seem biased because I do live in the city, but Charlotte, I don't know if you want to play for them, but they're looking better. But they do have the money. They do have some pieces they could move. I don't think they might want to break their team down. But what kind of relationship did he have with his assistant coach that was formerly with them that has turned Charlotte around? Now, that's a question that could be asked. Now, like I said, I'm still over here rattling my brain because I'm not just saying that's the only place that could be moved to, but that is an option. So, with that being said, let's finish rolling this content, guys.
Trade. The number one piece is off the board. The number one piece right now might be Jaylen Brown.
Who has the assets that can make a trade that would be worthwhile for Boston, whether it's draft capital or a player that's going to complement Jason Tatum, not duplicate what he does well.
The Celtics are not a team, it doesn't seem to me, that's building for the future. They're a team that was looking to get Giannis. Yeah. They're trying to move from what you're telling me. They're the favorites in the Eastern Conference as we stand here right now on DraftKings Sportsbook, as currently constituted. How do you see all this, Farnan?
Well, I personally think, first of all, go back to Jaylen Brown's comments. I don't think none of us are doubting him. I think that he's a tremendous talent and he has true value to be an asset for another team once he leaves.
The dude
Boston.
can ball. He got a lot to prove now, and I think he's ready to prove who he really is.
Clippers.
It's a make
Can you get
a break season for Jaylen Brown.
Leonard really not on the trading block? Does Steve Ballmer really want to keep him? If the Orlando Magic, are you moving Papala Banchero? Because if you can get that
And they
piece
show
and bring that
Charlotte
to Boston
in the
and
mix
put it
of my
alongside
conversation.
Jason Tatum, all of a sudden now does that make you think that this window's going to open back up and amongst the top teams in the Eastern Conference? And to me, that's where you start. You start with the Clippers and you start with the Orlando Magic.
I'd rather have Ben Carroll at his size, his potential, his youth.
Well, guys, I ain't gonna roll too much of that. I just want to tap in with you guys, let y'all see what was going on. I'm quite sure a lot of y'all are following this without me helping you along the way, but the few of y'all that might want to tap in and watch my little content, like I said, like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, like always, peace.